Rage Against the Vagine was recorded and edited on the traditional lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation. We honour the cultural strength, sovereignty and resilience of all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples and acknowledge their continuing connection to land, sea and community.
The rage is very real.
It's not considered an acutely important medical condition for the public system to cover.
Hormone health is mental health for women, and we need to look at it from a trauma-informed lens. Being a woman is a traumatic experience.
Or I think I want to rip someone's head off once a month.
I want a menopause Me Too moment where everyone gets up and they just talk about this shit.
Welcome to Rage Against the Vagine, a podcast about perimenopause, patriarchy, and the midlife medical gaslighting we're done putting up with. This podcast mixes lived experience with insights from doctors and researchers. We're here to explore the gaps between what science knows and what we feel. Just a heads up, there's strong language ahead. The swearing's not for shock value, it's because when your body's going rogue and no one's talking about it, sometimes heck just doesn't cut it. Now, if you think this podcast is just for old ladies, that's cute. That's exactly what they want you to think. So you stay quiet, confused, sad, and simply too tired to do anything about it. But here's the truth. This isn't your decline. It's your reckoning, and you deserve to understand it. This is a project I genuinely didn't have time to make. But it started waving at me with its little hand, shouting, and I couldn't ignore it. Because perimenopause has been one of the most confronting, confusing, disruptive, identity-altering things I've ever gone through. And I'm still going through it. Every day I hear from women and AFAB people who feel the same. Anxious, flattened, foggy, furious, frightened, not knowing what's happening to their bodies or who the hell they are anymore. I am quite literally here today because I had a GP who actually cared and referred me to a life-saving endocrinologist who's helping me sort out this hormonal hellscape. And yes, if you're playing Rage Against the Vagine bingo, hormonal hellscape may come up more than once. I got some of the help I needed, but I know so many don't. Because of things like financial stress, family pressure, being dismissed by doctors, or simply living in a world that was never designed with us in mind. Medical research is still built on the default male body, but we are not tiny men. And the misdiagnosis, medical gaslighting, and sheer lack of awareness around perimenopause, it's outrageous. So I made this podcast for two key reasons. One, to help you feel heard, to give you a sense of community, and ultimately, so you know that you're neither crazy or alone. Number two, to use my platform to give you access to some of the best minds in the game. Because you deserve answers, you deserve context, and you deserve hope, and the beginnings of a plan that works for you. We can't give medical advice, and we know that everyone's path is different, but we hope that this podcast plants a few seeds of questions to ask, options to explore, and a reminder that you're allowed to take up space in your own care. So what makes this podcast different? Look, there's more info out there now. TikToks, influencers, experts.
An Oprah Winfrey special, The Menopause Revolution.
6 signs that you're in perimenopause.
And welcome to all members of the We Do Not Care Club. I started this club for all women going through perimenopause.
But for many of us, especially if you're neurodivergent, it can still feel overwhelming. We hope this podcast doesn't add to the noise. We hope it cuts through the jargon and medical terms and meets you where you are. Think of it like a group chat, sharing stories that are both healing and hilarious. Hearing from experts in a way that's conversational and clear, and cherry-picking the strategies that might work for you. And we hope you feel like you're part of a community, because you are. This podcast has nearly 1,000 producers. No shit. The Rage Committee, an active group of my audience who filled out surveys, sent in voice notes and video rants, made art, and shared their lives with us. Yes, my own experience kicked this project off, but the committee, well, they're the heart and soul of this podcast. And unlike a lot of content in this space, this one is led by real people living it in real time. Each episode is built like a documentary. We zero in on one big focus question, trying to get into the who, what, when, where, and how of it all. And we go deep. You'll hear real voices from our Rage Against the Vagine committee, over 20 brilliant experts from around Australia, researchers, doctors, psychologists, clinicians, even some of my besties. And, yep, my own story will be woven through. We chop and change voices a bit, so it's a bit more conversational rather than clinical. If you hear a voice you love, check the show notes because every expert will be credited there. Follow them, learn from them. They showed up with so much time, care and heart, and we are so grateful to them. Here's how the series will unfold. There'll be 5 big questions plus one statement that will kick us off for Ep 1, entitled, "You are not fucking alone." That will cover off the truth about women and AFAB people and what they're really going through with perimenopause. Episode 2, what the is perimenopause? We'll cover the science, the symptoms, and why it's still so misunderstood. Ep 3, why the didn't anyone tell us? The systemic silence, the shame, and the missing research, education, and care will be covered. Episode 4, why the don't I feel like me anymore? We'll talk about identity, mental health, grief, rage, relationships, and reinvention. Episode 5, how the do I get help? In this episode, we'll talk about navigating the medical system, misdiagnosis, and finding your team and strategies. And number 6, how do we fix the systems? We talk about what's broken, what's changing, and how we rise together. So if you hear something that hits, send it. Share it with your friends still in denial. Share it with your mum, especially if you're trying to heal wounds from her white-knuckling through menopause in silence. Share it with your partner, your boss, your teenage kids, anyone who needs to understand what this actually means. Because the more of us who get it, the louder we get and the harder we are to ignore.
The menopause rage is real. Brain fog is horrendous. I don't even remember what day of the week it is most of the time. Overall, it's pretty shitty and I'm a bit over it.
100% give zero fucks about what people think.
I'm tired. I'm so tired. But with that, I'm also angry and ragey and ready to roar at the world.
Yes, it's hard. Yes, it'll bring you to your knees. But here's what I learned from women I spoke to who were out the other side. Perimenopause can be a reset, a pathway to a life with less bullshit and more clarity. Sometimes the universe bulldozes your life and it feels cruel, but maybe it's just clearing the weeds so you can finally grow the good shit. And if you can remember that, even in the thick of it, on your worst days, if you can ask yourself, what is this making way for? What am I letting go of that no longer serves me? Then the chaos can become a springboard, back to yourself and forward to who you really want to be. From the incredible people who filled out the Rage Against the Vagine committee survey, who showed up with stories, honesty, heartbreak, and humour. You told us what mattered. You were medically dismissed. You were furious no one warned you. You craved information that didn't gaslight you, and you needed something that made space for anger, grief, growth, and community. So we listened, and we built this for that. For you. For all of us. Rage Against the Vagine was made possible thanks to the incredible experts who gave us their time, energy, and brains. To What If, who proudly came on board to help women and AFAB people find their peace and protect their time. To the Rage Committee and everyone who bought merch, sent a tip, or slid into our inbox with a message of support, this truly is a people-powered project. And I want to acknowledge that this has been a huge undertaking, emotionally, physically, and personally. But if sharing access to these amazing humans helps even one of you feel seen, less broken, or more prepared, it's all been worth it. This isn't just a podcast, it's a rally cry. New episodes drop every Monday. Subscribe now and get ready to rage. Coming up next on Rage Against the Vagine, Episode 1, You Are Not F***ing Alone.
I've been a chronic people pleaser for a big chunk of my life, and it has not served me well. And so in this particular phase of life where less fucks are given, I find it quite liberating.
I've always been anxious, but I'd never had so much anxiety in my life.
I felt like dementia was setting in.
Everyone thinks it's just them. God forbid I'm not managing, I'm not coping, because we've been told time and time again that you must, and that there's no other way to do it. If you're not coping, you're failing.
I think me having slight resistance to saying, yes, I'm in perimenopause, would not be surprised if the real nub of that was internalised misogyny. Because what the fuck isn't in our society?
Sometimes I just leave my body and I watch the way I'm behaving or feeling, and I can't control it.
Mother Nature doesn't hate our guts. No, there's a reason behind it as to why it's happening. And I think this is why menopausal health has had such a revolution so quickly, because it's a group of women who can be easily empowered, who are sick of being told, shut up and deal with it. Like from the very first time they get their period, they're like, shh, have a tampon, don't talk to me about it ever again. And now there's these women who are like, you know what? I want to talk about it. I'm sick of it. I'm not going to go around everybody to make them happy. I've had enough.
Please follow Rage Against the Vagine on your preferred podcast app. Give us a 5-star rating and a review, and share us with your friends. We need to get the message out to everybody who needs to hear it.
Release the rage with Emsolation.
What a tease!
Woo!
Get even more Em Rusciano.
I've been auditioning gynecologists for the girls.
Auditioning by going to them themselves?
I haven't literally been going in and saying, here you go, here's one that's at ground zero. What can you do for it?
And her best friend since she was 11, Michael Lucas.
I do not think it's the best soundtrack ever.
Frozen 2 is the superior Disney soundtrack.
For me...
Beauty and the Beast.
No.
Oh, I was wrong.
Has to be The Little Mermaid, because...
I see you.
Part of your world... unmatched. But then also, Poor Unfortunate Souls. Untoppable.
Under the sea.
The opening number, Fathoms Below.
The Triton. Great Father who loves us and names us well. I mean, you can't beat that.
Another brilliant number.
Les
Poissons.
It's not just a podcast.
We didn't even get to talk about how high-cut J-Lo's leotards were at World Pride.
It's a community.
A little bit more feminist.
Equality has been achieved.
Emsolation with Em Rusciano.
Sadly, I could not play a high school student. Apparently.
That's certainly not what I think.
Every Thursday on your favourite podcast app.